Let's bring in actor Steve Guttenberg, who lives near the Pacific Palisades fire and jumped into action to help. Steve, we're used to seeing you on screen in a much different capacity. Usually it's some kind of comedic role. I know this is far from funny. So talk to me about what it's been like for you, for your family, and your neighbors right now.
It's just been the biggest fire I've ever seen in my life. And 9 o'clock in the morning, everything was fine. At 10 o'clock in the morning, the sky was black and the fire was raging. I don't know how it started, but Sunset Boulevard was packed with cars. And I tried to get back to my house, and Palisades Drive was packed. So I wasn't able to get up there. And all of a sudden, people were just fleeing. I mean, it was, 2 miles of cars packed. And the fires, they started with these little circles of red, like little devils. And before you knew it, the wind, which is the strongest wind you've ever seen, I mean, it's 80 miles an hour, and it's a hot wind, and it started just spreading all these little pockets of burning embers. And then before you knew it, a whole hill was on fire, and the hills behind the schools were on fire. And then the police were telling the people to leave their cars. And the reason I want to be on the air is to tell people in a crisis, if you abandon your car in the street, leave your keys in the car. So guys like me can move your car so fire trucks can get in there. And if you're able-bodied, make sure you can help people. Just if you're able-bodied and you're strong, stay behind and help people. There are people in wheelchairs. There are older people who can't get anywhere. They have to walk down hills. They need help. Little kids, mothers having anxiety attacks, panic attacks. You need to stay behind and you need to help them. And we also need to do this during the real life, during real time. When the crisis is not happening, we need to be nice to each other and help each other as much as we can. But most importantly, if there's a crisis, leave your keys in your car so that guys like me can move your car so fire trucks can get up there and help people and save lives.
Now, Steve, presumably people are leaving their cars because the flames are getting too close and they feel they have to escape on foot. So how are you then going and moving those cars? That sounds incredibly dangerous.
Well, it has to be done. I just decided that all these cars are abandoned. We got to move them out because emergency vehicles need to get up the hill, especially to the highlands. So I just started moving cars and pushing up the curbs and leaving the keys in them, but just moving. And the funny thing is, I don't know how to drive a Tesla. I don't know how to start a Tesla. There were probably 20 Teslas in the street, and I didn't know how to start them. And then there were people who locked their cars as if they were going to a mall, and I don't know if they're afraid of looters or what they're afraid of, but there are all these cars in the middle of the street that guys like me can't move because they're locked, or they don't leave the keys in them. But I think it was, you see, that's it. That's Palisades Drive. And that's, and people can't get out. Yeah, that's it. That's Palisades Drive. And if you see all the cars, a lot of these are abandoned cars. People just get up and leave. Look, see, that's a car I moved over there. Everybody, you got to make room. Look at this fire. This is right behind a school. I mean, it's unbelievable. But it needed to be done, so you need to look at all the cars. It's like a parking lot. So when people abandon their cars, you got to leave your keys in there so guys like me can move them.
Steve, you lived in that area for a while. How does this compare to other wildfires you've seen?
This is, it's like a 10 compared to a 3. That's it. It's a 10 compared to a 3. I've never seen a fire like this. And also, whenever there's a fire here in the Palisades, the planes or the helicopters are able to put it out pretty easily, and the firemen. They can't be put out. I mean, the winds, it also happened with these terrible winds. These winds are the strongest winds you've ever seen. And they just make these little dots of devil fire into these swabs of burning buildings. And I tried to get out of the Palisades last night. I was there. I went down toward the ocean. I couldn't get there. There were trees in the middle of the street, right near one of my temples, the Chabad and Rabbi Zushi, and the community center started to burn. So I went the other way, and I started going toward the grocery store, and the grocery store was on fire, and they wouldn't let us through. So I went down to Temescal Canyon. And if anybody knows Temescal Canyon, there are all these beautiful homes there. There's a high school there. There's our live theater there. Everything was on fire. Everything was on fire on both sides, and I was the only car there, and I couldn't see more than 3 feet in front of my car. The smoke was so thick. Now, I never think I'm going to die. I never think I'm going to die. But this was one of those moments where I said, "Oh man, this could be the place that I'm going to go." But thank God I couldn't even find PCH. It felt like an hour to get down to PCH, which is really a 5-minute drive. I was going so slow, but both sides, it looked like a volcano was on the sides of the hills. It looked like a volcano.
Steve, at last check, these fires are still 0% contained. They say Pacific Palisades, that the fire there is burning at 5 football fields a minute. What are you most concerned about right now? And what do you think when you think about the impact on your community?
I'm really concerned about anybody who's still in their home, maybe who doesn't have electricity, that lives alone, that doesn't have many friends, that maybe doesn't know how to get out. I'm afraid for them. I'm afraid for the animals that have been left behind. And I'm concerned about the fire not getting controlled. And but after this is over, and it will be over, then we have to band together, and we have to become one community, one town, one nation, one world, and we have to help each other, and we have to rebuild. And it's going to take years to rebuild. But this is an example that we are not at one street, one city, one town, one nation, we are one world. We are one community. And especially in a crisis like this is where you really find out that it doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you live in. Everybody's the same. Everybody's walking with their belongings, bewildered, trying to find help. Everybody's the same.
And it is the one bright spot often we do see in disasters like this is people coming together afterward in order to rebuild and move forward. Actor Steve Guttenberg, we appreciate your time today. Steve, stay safe. I cannot emphasize that enough. I know you want to go out and help people, but we also want you to be okay. Steve, thank you.
I'm okay. I'm strong. I got to help people, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you.